Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji inaugurated the Rising Northeast Summit yesterday. And as part of the summit, he made many interesting observations about the Northeast of India. He said that Northeast is no more a frontier region, it is going to be the front runner of growth in India. He in fact said that the 8 Northeast states are in fact the Ashtalakshmis of India. And we know that the Northeast has been a traditionally neglected region of India, and it is a region where there is significant economic backwardness. And through these kind of summits like Rising Northeast Summit, the Indian Prime Minister is going to, in fact, promote economic development with private partnership in Northeast India. And in fact, he also pointed out the huge potential for Northeast India as a growth corridor and a link between India and the Southeast Asian countries, which have formed an economic organization called ASEAN. And along with that, he also said that the Indian government's approach right now is not just looking east, but acting east. And in acting east, culture, connectivity, and commerce are going to be the three important disciplines. And in culture, connectivity, and commerce, we can very clearly observe that we are promoting a lot of road projects linking the northeast of India with Southeast Asian countries, ranging from the Kaladan multimodal project connecting the northeast of India with Myanmar. And along with the Kaladan multimodal project, we also started an international trilateral highway that is going to be constructed between Thailand, Myanmar, and India. So these kind of connectivity programs will definitely promote the economic development of the Northeast region. And he also pointed out how the Northeast of India is a very diverse region and its diversity is its strength. And he also said that India has a lot many new dreams for the Northeast India. Particularly if we observe, the Northeast region is going to be in future the bioeconomic capital of India, particularly because of the intense production of bamboo and along with that tea production in Northeast India. And Northeast India also has an evergreen forest which is a host for numerous herbs and medicinal plants in Northeast India. And along with being the bioeconomic hub, one more important work that the Northeast can fulfill for India is it is in fact an area where petroleum reserves are found in a large measure. We might be knowing that the only on-land petroleum extraction plant of India was at one point of time present in Dibrugarh in the Assam region. And along with that, the Northeast India also has a great promise in ecotourism industry too, primarily because as the people's concern with ecology and environment is increasing, ecotourism as an economic discipline is fast improving. And this way, if we focus on the industrial development of the Northeast region and provide employment there, even the problem of insurgency also will be completely done, and insurgency would be a thing of the past for the people of Northeast India. So this way, security will improve, the connectivity with Southeast Asia and Asian countries will improve. Even for that matter, the cultural contacts between India and Southeast Asia also can get enhanced by having a very efficient Northeast policy. Then along with that, even the commercial relations also can fast improve, primarily because India is looking towards establishment of supply chains which are distributed across countries. And in these supply chains, India is going to play a very important role. So all of these are pointing to a new Northeast, and Northeastern states are going to be the new sunrise states where many green projects are going to be set up. Indian Naval Service vessel Kaundinya has been inducted yesterday at the Karwar Naval Base in Karnataka. INSV Kaundinya is a unique ship that has been made on the traditional Indian methodology of making the ships. In fact, the ship, if you observe, is made with a technology which is called as stitched ship technology, where the ship's planks are stitched together rather than using nails or boarding method in order to make the ship. In fact, the stitched ships have a greater capability in order to tolerate the very strong waves which hit in the Indian Ocean region on the ships, because the things which are very firm, whenever a wave hits them, then they are going to break and the force will entirely get transferred onto the vessel. But in case of stitched ships, if the wave hits it, then the wave get absorbed because the stitched ship has some elasticity to it. That is the uniqueness of the ship. And along with that, in order to stop the entry of the water into the ship, they have used many traditional resins which are naturally extracted in order to waterproof the vessel. And along with that, INS Kaudinya has numerous emblems of traditional Indian mythology, ranging from the Gandaberunda image which has been used. Gandaberunda is a traditional eagle with two heads of its own, and along with that, the emblems of Surya, the emblems of Yali have been used in the making of the ship. And along with that, the ship also will carry a stone anchor. Usually, the anchors are made with iron, but during the Indus Valley Civilization period, they were made with stone, and these stone anchors are used here. In fact, one more interesting thing about the name of Kaundinya is Kaundinya is the first historically recorded mariner of India. He was a very famous merchant who belonged to a Brahmin community, and he in fact traveled all across Southeast Asia. At one point of time when he went to Southeast Asia, he got married to a princess of Funan region who was a tribal princess by the name of Soma, and by marrying her, he established a kingdom in Southeast Asia which today is called as the Cambodian kingdom. And if you observe it, he is the one who took the civilization and culture to this region, and majority of the people in Cambodia even today practice Hinduism, as we know that the largest temple complex of Hinduism is present in Cambodia, which is called as Angkor Wat. And along with the Angkor Wat, one more interesting fact about the Southeast Asian region is, even though the people are racially looking like the Chinese, their culture is intensely influenced by the Indian culture. And in writing of world history, the Southeast Asian region is usually called as Greater India, because they came under the influence of Hinduism and Buddhism and Indian mythology and myth, and along with that, the Indian civilization had a great influence on this region. Now, coming back to INSV Kaundinya, it is a ship which is supposed to emphasize on the traditional role of India in the Indian Ocean region as a net security provider. The ship is going to conduct a lot many voyages across the Indian Ocean region, but its first voyage is going to be from Gujarat to Oman region in order to give a taste of Indian culture, Indian heritage to all the countries which are present in the Southeast Asian region. So, happy sail to the INSV Kaundinya. The CPI Maoist Party, which is a banned political organization in India, has fallen into a deep crisis after the encounter of its General Secretary Nambala Kesarao. In fact, in the history of Maoism and Naxalism in India, never a person at the level of General Secretary has been directly encountered by the state agencies. In fact, apart from the death of its General Secretary, Maoism in India is facing numerous issues. First and foremost, most of the top leadership of the Maoist ranks today, they are aged above 50. And the guerrilla warfare tactic is generally physically very demanding warfare, and these people are not able to cope up with the demanding conditions in the forest and jungle warfare. And along with that, the second one is most of the members of the Politburo and Central Committee today, if you observe them, the state agencies are swooping very fast against them. And when the General Secretary level cadre itself is encountered by the police, there is no security for the Politburo and the Central Committee. That is the second major issue. Then the third major issue is the state agencies, particularly the CRPF, the district battalions, and along with that, the state police also are in fact conducting very effective and coordinated combing operations in which multiple Naxal cadres are being eliminated. In fact, the traditionally uncombed and unprotected areas of the central India, particularly the Abusmud Hills in Chhattisgarh, the Kavadiguda region in Telangana, and along with that, the Gadchiroli district in Maharashtra are also seeing very efficient and effective combing operations by the state agencies. The usage of drones, satellite imagery, and continuous monitoring of the Naxal movements is able to deliver the results. And under Operation Kagar, majority of the top leadership is being eliminated one after the other. When the Naxal movement is on its dying last mile, numerous cadres of the Naxals are also surrendering to the state agencies. Even the recruitment of new Naxals also has become a very difficult job for the Naxalites, primarily because the tribals in Chhattisgarh who traditionally were the main source of recruitment, are no more attracted towards the ideology of Naxalism, and the state development projects also are able to bring them out of extremist influence. And if you look at the top level leadership of the Naxal movement, majority of them are from the Andhra Telangana region. Today, because of the economic development, the students of these two regions are no more attracted to the ideology of Naxalism. And at this juncture, the only option available for the Naxals is complete en masse surrender. That is the only viable option. Otherwise, the state agencies, as fixed earlier, by March 31st of 2026, are going to eliminate the Naxals. And along with that, we also need to understand one thing. The current General Secretary who has been eliminated, Nambala Kesovrao, or Basavaraju for that matter, he is a proponent of a military strategy, and he was in fact a person who was involved in numerous encounters with the state police agencies and the CRPF. He was involved in killing 76 CRPF Jawans in Dantenwada region of Chhattisgarh back in 2010. Then after that, even in the encounter of nearly 27 CRPF Jawans also he was involved, and the military strategy that he followed ultimately led to his downfall, and he was finally eliminated. Thank you. The Supreme Court of India has made an oral observation on Enforcement Directorate. In fact, the observation was more of criticism. The reason for this is Enforcement Directorate has conducted raids and started investigation on the Tamil Nadu State Marketing Corporation and claimed that it has unearthed a 1,000 crore scam in which multiple politicians are involved in Tamil Nadu. But the Supreme Court said that this is completely compromising the federal structure of India, and the Enforcement Directorate is showing a sense of over-activism and entering into the domain of law and order of the states. In fact, if you look at it, Enforcement Directorate as an agency was empowered by the Prevention of Money Laundering Act of 2002. And under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, the Enforcement Directorate had the right to search and seize. It has the right to detain and arrest. And along with that, it also takes verbal statement from the people who have been accused of money laundering crime. But the Enforcement Directorate of late is facing the criticism of politically targeted complaints, and along with politically targeted complaints, they are also investigating only the cases of opposition leaders and opposition ruled states. But this time, the Enforcement Directorate has crossed the line and directly is starting an investigation on a state-owned corporation. In fact, if you look at the Enforcement Directorate, definitely it has served a purpose of stopping money laundering and terror financing, but at what cost? Because from 2002 to till date, out of nearly 5,096 cases which have been filed by the Enforcement Directorate, conviction happened only in 29 cases, and the final hearing was only done in 31 cases, which shows that the net conviction rate in comparison to the number of cases filed is very minimal. And over and above this, Enforcement Directorate has traditionally on multiple occasions taken over the cases from the state police, and along with that, even the first or case information report of the Enforcement Directorate is also not accessible to the accused. And Enforcement Directorate has created a unique jurisdiction of its own, where the people in fact can be self-incriminated based on the evidences that they have given or oral observations they have given. It compromises the constitutional guarantee which has been given to any person who has been accused that there will not be any self-incrimination, but Enforcement Directorate has the power to self-incriminate a person. And along with that, once Enforcement Directorate takes up a case, in fact, in Indian jurisprudence, there is a principle that a person is innocent till the time he is proven guilty by the state agency. But in Enforcement Directorate cases, the entire concept is reversed, because a person will remain an accused and the responsibility to prove that he is an innocent lies on the person, which means that the burden of proof will lie on the accused but not on the Enforcement Directorate, which is a very, very unique case scenario. And Enforcement Directorate conducting raids, investigation on a state corporation when already there are nearly 41 FIRs filed against various liquor outlet operators is definitely crossing a line, and the Enforcement Directorate should work within its bound and should respect the constitutional principles of federalism, and it should not show any over-activism and conduct any politically targeted attacks, because it will completely compromise the democratic principles of the country in the name of security. Thank you.